Maybe I should try that. It's just one number to mod. Maybe I should try that. What are you selling? You're selling iron. Do I want anything else? Not really. Not really interested in anything else. 1,000 there. Let's give you 250 firewood. What's full? My warehouses are full again? Alright, I guess so. My warehouses are full again. Wow, amazing. Maybe I should lower the food limit. I don't really, hold on, what's going on here? I don't really have enough warehouses for all this food. Let's lower this down to 25,000. Yep, exactly the same as last time. Exactly the same as last time. Now the only thing that might be interesting is where does it bottom out? Does it bottom out the same level as before? Or does it bottom out earlier? I don't need nomads. Nomads are not useful because it's not we have people, we don't have enough children and houses and things. That's so bad. That's so bad. It's really not anything you can do anything about, is it? What can you do about that? Can you stagger the... No, because we have a wide range of ages here. 63, 36. Like, we have all sorts of numbers. We have 10s, we have 30s, we have 40s, we have 50s. Do we have 20s? We have 20s, we have 80s and 70s. We have the full range of ages. It's not about staggering the ages of the people, is it? No. It's about... It's about people living with their parents until their parents die, and by the time their parents die, they're too old to have children of their own. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Would it actually help? Look, like before I was saying if the old people move in with each other to free up homes for younger people, would that actually help? Yes it would, because you're basically just reshuffling people. So instead of, I mentioned 2 houses with 2 old people and 2 middle-aged people in one house, and then 2 old people, 2 middle-aged people in one house. If you just reshuffle the old people, two of the old people into the other house. No, that doesn't really make sense, does it? Hold on. That doesn't really make sense, does it? Maybe shuffling the old people wouldn't make any... It would make some difference, but maybe it won't make any difference in the long term. Would it? Well, let's just keep looking at this. The decline in the green line is not as severe as it was previously. Is it chickens? Are the chickens being infested? Infested chicken. Sorry, we're gonna kill all your chickens. So the decline in the green line is not as severe as last time, or at least not yet. So we'll see how that turns out. Although you can see that we're down to 37 laborers, right? Of 37 free laborers, not doing anything useful. Alright, back to chickens. 35. It doesn't seem to be as steep, and also look at the red line. Although the red line is pretty much the same level as last time, never mind, nothing special about the red line at all. Just want to see where it bottoms out. And if it bottoms out at the same place, we're gonna just stop playing the game. If it bottoms out before that level, maybe I'll keep playing and see what happens. $33 labor surplus. Maybe I should stop recording and come back later to see how this, because this is really boring, guys. Like I have nothing to say. We're just sitting here watching the gameplay itself. So let me just stop recording here, and I guess I'll come back in about 20 years and we'll talk about what happened. I'll see you guys. Alright, so I think you guys can see for yourself in that graph what is going on here. The simulation, the population simulation here is just not self-correcting. We had just gone through the exact same thing as we did earlier, with the exact same patterns, right? Too many adults, too many old people, the old people die. As they die, houses are freed up, the children move into the new houses, they have more children. Eventually, enough new children are born to stop the population decline, and then you have more adults coming back into the workforce. It's the same problem, and the simulation is not self-correcting, and I think that's a problem. I think that's a problem with the game, because if something like this happens in real life, the people would be smart enough to figure this out, you know? Like, nothing has changed except the people and the houses they live in. Like, if this happened in real life, or it wouldn't happen in real life, because people would be smarter than this to figure this out. This is purely a problem with the game mechanics. It's not a challenge. It's not something that happens in the game that you have to deal with, like a pest infestation or like a disease outbreak, or you run out of food or run out of firewood. Those things are challenges in the game. This is just a bad game mechanic. This is just a bad game mechanic because it's not supposed to be like this. Or if it is, then I can't imagine why, right? So I think the best thing to do is to increase the childbearing age to 50, because the reason why this is happening is because, so you have parents having children. When the children grow up, there's no extra houses for them to move into, which is always going to be the case eventually, because you can't grow indefinitely. So if you play this game, eventually you'll get to a point where you just can't build any more houses, right? Because you run out of space. So at some point in the game, you can't build any more houses. The children grow up. There's no new houses to move into, so they stay with their parents. And then the parents die when they're about 80 years old or more. By that time, the children are more than 40 years old. So they're kind of like 40, 50 years old. And then they're too old to have their own children. So then they have to spend another 20 years before they die, or 20 to 30 years before they die, and then the house becomes empty and then new people can move into that house. And that's the problem. That's the problem. So, but if people can have children up to the age of 50, then you can imagine that the parents have children when they're maybe 40 or something. I mean, it seems kind of old, but given that this is a long-term stable population, not a growing population, that kind of makes sense. And since they live to 80 anyway, that kind of makes sense. So at 40 they have children. By the time they themselves are 80, they die, their children have become 40. Now the house is theirs. They can have children at the age of 40. And then their children would do the same thing and grow up. So if you increase the age at which people can have children, this problem will be gone. This fluctuating problem will be gone. It's only because of that. It's only because the old people don't move out of the homes to vacate them for younger children. The younger children don't have their own children when their parents are in the house. It's a confluence of these three things that makes this happen. And it's a problem with the game mechanics, because the game mechanics are not... I mean, game mechanics are never going to be complex enough to mimic real life. But here, the simplification of real life behavior into game mechanics is done in such a way that it results in this counterintuitive population dynamic, which doesn't really make sense, because you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. If there are not enough houses for young people, the old people can just move in with... Or why can't they? Why can't the old people just move in with each other and free up the houses for their kids? Wouldn't they want to do that? You know what I mean? Like, why would you not want to have a house for your kids to live in? And like, if you're an old man, if you're like 70 years old, you're living by yourself in a massive house, why would you not just, I don't know, move in with another old dude and just, have someone to talk to at least? You're not by yourself, living alone. That's kind of weird. So this is just... It's not really... It doesn't really make sense. This particular game mechanic, it's not really plausible as a game mechanic. So I'm done with this game. I'm just gonna stop playing here, and I mean, there's nothing else. I mean, if we want to keep playing, we can start a new map and just do the same thing, except it's a bigger map, so you just get more people, but it's gonna be the same thing. You make farms, build fishing docks, build hunting lodges, collect stuff. Once you get your population above 100, it's just cruising. It's just smooth sailing. Under 50 people, you are panicking all the time because you don't have enough people. But once you get above 100 people in your town, the economies of scale kick in, and after that it's just cruising. So this game, I think I've solved it pretty much. I mean, even these, like it's not a big deal, because the population can go up and down like this, and we don't even care. We just shuffle people into farming and then back out of farming when the population crashes. Like, it doesn't stop us from just cruising. You know, you just have to put people into farming and then put them back out again. So you see, I've pulled people out of farming, out of herding, and out of fishing, and out of hunting, and then nothing else changes really. We just keep playing, and the game just keeps running. So it's not like we have no problems. We have no problems. We have solved everything there is to solve in the game. Alright. That's it. Done. I'm done with this game. I'll see you guys. Although, actually, no, it's been interesting. There have been some very interesting things that we've come across in the course of playing this game. I don't want to sound like I hate this game or anything. It's just there's just a few mechanics that are not very good. It's just like this population thing, this childbearing age thing. Aside from this thing, it's been very interesting. And even this, it's kind of been interesting to think about why it is that people don't, why it is that the population does this, and like figuring that out was quite interesting. And I think if you don't really understand economics or demographics, it's kind of interesting to just play this game and think about the numbers and think about the interaction between workers and production and all that. But it's quite complicated if you don't know, kind of economic concepts, alright? But I think it's good to learn. And maybe if I have kids, I don't have kids. If I had kids, I kind of play with them. And if they have questions like why do I have to produce, like, I think it's interesting for somebody who understands economics to play with someone who doesn't understand economics, and then as they face these problems, you can kind of explain the nuances to them. And you kind of have to do that because the game doesn't explain the nuances. The game doesn't explain anything to you. Like, it doesn't tell you anything. So you have to figure this out yourself, or you need to ask somebody who does understand to kind of explain the economic concepts to you, and then you can kind of understand these complex things, and you can see these complex things happening in this game. So that's really interesting in that sense. It's just that the game won't teach you anything. You have to kind of ask somebody else, or figure it out yourself. Alright, I'll see you guys.